This is 10 minutes.
Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Member Steele?
Here.
Member Lyon Welch? Here. Member Frederick? Here. Member Lanford? Member Holbrook?
Here.
Member Dean? Here. Member Lake?
Here. Thank you. Next, we have a presentation from Jefferson Elementary School. Mrs. Reardon.
We are here tonight to introduce you to the newest member of the Jefferson team, Miss Molly. She's an 8-month-old golden retriever. Isn't she cute? She even had her school picture. We were really excited about that. She's been in training since she was 14 weeks old with Scott and his wife Megan, who was at school today from Magnum Canine. And she's going to be working with Mrs. Miller and all of her students. She's so sweet, and we love her, and she loves it when the kids pet her, so she works out really great in a elementary school, and she really likes tennis balls, so if you have any extra, you can drop them off.
All right, so I'm gonna let Scott from Magnum K9 kind of take the floor. He's gonna explain all the training that Molly has been through and like continuous training that she'll receive and I'll receive too as well.
Again, so I'm Scott LaRoe, I own Magnum Canine. We've put 20 dogs in schools in the last 18 months. So we do a lot of the schools in our area, pretty much every dog in Branch County we put in. A little bit about us, I've been a dog trainer for 25 years. I've trained all the police dogs in the region too. So if you see a police canine unit, I probably am the one that trained it. We pick these dogs, we want a low energy, low, low movement, almost like, some people will be like, well, she looks submissive. She's just really super low energy and chill. She'll lay there like this all day long. We specifically pick dogs around that. We test dogs. We test the dogs to be obviously people and kids safe, environmental safe, socially safe, everything like that. We put the dog through a very strict and stringent training program and testing program. And then once we know that the dog is suitable, we start training with the handler. So all total, it's, Molly was a little bit different. We did her a little bit different as like a pilot program, but a normal dog gets about 15 weeks of training with the dog and the handler before it gets put into a school, and testing and everything. So she'll be going with the school, she'll be going with you guys in the middle of spring or Christmas break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when she'll be actually integrated into the school right after when the kids come back from Christmas break. You guys, the Coldwater School District's getting a second dog from us too, and I actually think that dog's going with their handler next week, I think. So, but that dog, the reason the difference is because that dog was already an older dog when we started the training, where this dog was 14 weeks old when we started the training. So it's just kind of a little bit different than that. We teach the handlers how to utilize the dog in the school, how to maintain the training. What we do is we are constantly, for the working life of the dog, we're able to be with the handler to help. We had one school system that they had a kiddo that came in with a wheelchair. The dog never been around a wheelchair before, so they wanted to be able to utilize the dog with the student. So we had to come in and retrain the dog how to appropriately climb up in a wheelchair and stuff, so this kid could interact with their dog too. So anytime, that's just an example, if you guys was to get a student that had a special something that it needed, she'll just get a hold of us and we'll come in and see if we can't mitigate that for them. We can't think of every possible scenario that we need to train a dog for. So, and then what we do is once a year we retest the dog and see if it needs any additional training or if there's anything that we can do to help. We normally do that right before school starts in August. And then we'll just go through, we retest the dog, see if there's any behavioral changes or if there's any training that needs to be added. And then we that's just part of the cost of the initial price of the dog. We don't You know, we don't go, if the dog needs 6 more weeks of training to help with something, we don't charge for that. It's just part of the initial cost of the dog. Other than that, does anybody have any questions about how she might be utilized or any training that she's been going through or anything?
Where is your business located?
So originally we were located in Quincy, Michigan, but now we're in Sturgis,
Okay.
so pretty local.
And do you do, other than school dogs and you said police dogs, do you do just an individual, like if I had a dog that I wanted to do training?
Literally, I've trained dogs to do almost anything you can think of. Our specialty is police dogs and service dogs, but we do, like, if somebody has a pet that they need to train, I don't normally say that because I'm not here to, you know, advertise my business, but if somebody has a pet that needs to be trained, we 100% can do it. If somebody needs a seizure alert dog, we can do it. If they need, I've done CNI dogs, I've done motion stability dogs, so pretty much anything that a dog can do, we can do it. But our main thing that I like a lot is our school dogs and our veteran dogs for disabled veterans. I've trained dogs that have literally protected the presidents, and I still think it's more rewarding to watch a kiddo that's struggling or a veteran that's struggling and be able to have some relief for them. You know, so.
Do you keep the animals in your home, board them when you're training them?
Yes.
Or you stay with, okay.
Nope. So like Molly currently still lives with us, and she lives in our home with us as if she was our own dog. And that to me is important for the testing, like to make sure you can't know a dog's true behavior if you just put it out in a kennel. You know what I mean? So she's with us. If we go, that picture right there is actually from the Michigan School Counselors Association. Last week we went up there, and there was thousands of school administrators and counselors and teachers up there, and that was from that conference. But yep. Any other questions?
Yeah, you mentioned, I made a reference to the working life of the dog. What
Yeah.
typically is that? I mean, I know it depends. You said some older
Yeah.
dogs, some younger, but
It depends. So the
So like
working
Molly,
life
you know?
of a dog ain't no different than people, right? If you got a healthy, and I think, you know, you could probably, contest to this. If you got a healthy dog that isn't overweight, it's gonna last longer than if you got a dog that's extremely it ain't no different than people. A 500-pound man ain't gonna be able to work as long as a 150-pound person that's in shape, right? And the same thing goes with dogs. If we maintain their health, we maintain their body structure, we give them the appropriate, vet care and everything, they can typically go to 10 to 12 years. But if that same dog is overweight and doesn't go to the vet and all this other stuff, it might be 6, 7 years, 8 years, So it's just one of those things that's hard to tell. And breed is different in there too,
so what does that program look like with the schools? Is there like a set dietary thing that we keep the dogs on?
That's part of the training is we teach the handlers, nutrition, vet care, and of course we always say, go to your vet and see what your vet recommends, but I've been doing dogs 25 years, so I kind of got an idea of what needs to be done, but every dog's different. This is the way she needs to eat, this is the exercise she needs, this is, you know what I mean? And if you maintain that, this dog will probably work till it's 10 years old if that's maintained properly.
Cool.
Yeah.
And a reminder, that's the give and take agreement with the handler. So we, as a district, provide the payment for the training. The handler takes on all the rest. So,
Yeah, and
that's why they're out fundraising
Yeah.
for funds to
Yeah.
offset the cost of feeding and vet bills.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's the way 90% of our school districts do it. And that's the way, if a school admin comes to me and says, how should we do this? That's the way I tell them, this is how I would do it and how it's been successful. Like I said, we've got 20 dogs now in different schools. Some schools have many of them. Quincy district has 3 dogs, and they've got them all from us, so. But as you can see, people always say, what are we paying for? The fact that she's not running around sniffing everybody's hand.
Come to my house.
Is there any additional questions, comments, concerns, anything?
What's her attack word?
Oh, she don't have one of them. She just licks you up.
What does Molly do on a typical day in the school?
So Molly can be used for, and I can't really speak for Molly, but let's just say other dogs that we've trained, they've been used for student behavioral interventions. So one example a principal told me about was they had a student that would very regularly barricade himself underneath a, oh, she has stuff up there for that.
Yeah.
Keep going.
They had a student that very regularly would barricade himself under the desk, and they would like have to empty the classroom of all the kids. They would have to go in and forcefully take the young man out from underneath the table. Now, when he gets to that level where he's going to start acting that way, they walk in, hand the leash to him, and he walks out with the dog. So it intervenes in that before it ever becomes escalated to the point where we're physically having to remove him or having to move a whole classroom because he's barricaded himself underneath. There's another, we have actually Waldron School here, at the ISD, they have a student there, that's a little bit more cognitively, there's some individuals there that struggle a little more. They had a brand new student, he was a 24-year-old, they've been trying to get him to fill out this paper, front and back questions for a week. We went there with the dog while I was still in training, and I just said, hey man, if you want to walk the dog down the hallway, get those questions taken care of and we'll do it. They've been trying for a week. 15 minutes later, the teacher came out and said, it's done if you want to come let him walk the dog down the hallway. So they'd been talking to him for a week, trying to get him to answer front and back, and he wouldn't do it within 15 minutes. And the only thing I said is, I'll let you walk him down the hallway. So you can use it for behavioral reward, and interventions is a big thing.
Our kids can purchase time
Yep, a lot of
from the school store
A lot of
to
students
spend
do it
time
that
with
way.
Molly. So they can use their tickets to buy time with her.
Yeah, a lot of schools do that.
What about if there's kids that are allergic to the dog?
So,
we
go ahead.
got, when she first started going through training in the beginning of the school year, sent out opt-out forms to all families. And parents were able to sign that or even just state whether or not their child had an allergy. We only have one student in our school that has an allergy, and after calling that mom, she said, because she said allergy, but he can pet her, and I was like, okay, I'm a little confused by that. So I called her, and I'm like, so explain this to me a little bit. She's like, oh, well, he does have an allergy, but sometimes he needs his inhaler with that. So on the opt-out forms, I'm able to kind of see what families want their child to opt out with interacting with Molly. And the only forms that we got back were our families that had religious reasons, a lot of our Arabic families, which we understand completely. And even taking her to the school, all of those students though too are very excited to see her. Even though they know that they can't pet her or interact with her, they still love watching her down the hallway. They still smile when they see her. And that's the part that I was kind of nervous about, of how would they perceive her? How would they interact with her? But they have so much joy when they see her too. But yeah, that's how
I have another school, not to interrupt you, but I have another school that they did opt-out forms too. And they had 4 or 5 students that for cultural reasons opted out the first year. The second year, they pulled their opt-out. 3 of the students pulled their opt-out and said, as long as we wash our hands, our mama says that we can go ahead and pet the dog. So there's another student in a district in this county where they opted out because the brother and daughter were brutally attacked by a dog. So the first year, they opted out. The second year, both of the students now interact with the dog and other dogs. So the dog in the school is actually able to be a little bit of therapy for their unfortunate incident that they had suffered from. So I'm finding that a lot of the opt-outs second year are going away. But another thing to answer your question is the dogs, a lot of times people ain't necessarily allergic to the dog, they're allergic to what the dog's carrying. So these dogs are supposed to be groomed very well and maintained, so they're not carrying the dander and the pollens and the stuff that they're running through the grass. Most people are not truly allergic to dogs. They're allergic to what the dog is carrying. The pollen that's running through grass, it's, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that nobody's allergic to dogs, but typically it's what they're carrying on their fur. So they're being maintained, cleaned, groomed properly. So you're seeing a lot less of, oh, I'm allergic to dogs, because the dog's being properly maintained and cared for, if that makes sense. So.
She's Jill.
Any other additional questions?
Use a similar passive breed for your Michigan State Police?
No. Totally opposite end of the
You don't have to
spectrum.
answer that.
Totally opposite end of the spectrum, yeah. Yep. So, and I'm hoping that we'll get more dogs in your guys' district. You're one of the largest district in the county. You got 2 dogs coming. Not from a greedy standpoint, but from a kid standpoint, I hope we have a dog in every school. Like, obviously I get paid to do this, but like I said earlier, I've trained dogs that have literally protected the President of the United States, and I think the dogs that are helping our kids are even more rewarding, you know what I mean, so,
Thank you very much, Scott.
yeah. Here's some pictures from Molly.
Yep, at
She's been in the school quite a bit already,
She
so.
has.
Have you noticed a difference already just from the limited time she's been there?
Oh, yeah. And students are so excited. Daily, I have students asking, so when's Molly coming? When's Molly coming? In the beginning, we weren't positive of like a date, and I didn't want to say when she was coming, but now we have a more like set date, so I'm able to tell them when we return from break, Christmas break, we'll be able to see her every day and everything. And yeah, she's been so great with the kids that are on my caseload. I'm a 31N provider, so I do work with our students that are on tier 3. They have the most behavioral challenges, and the past couple of days, she's been able to interact with my caseload and the students that I work with, and it's been so nice. It's wonderful. I have, what are the kids saying about Molly? So after the kids interacted with Molly on Friday and then today, I asked them like, so how are you feeling? What do you think about Molly? And I asked a lot, how's your body feeling? They said she makes my body feel calm. I heard that a lot. A lot of the kids that I worked with said, I feel really calm. And their demeanor too was very calm. I'm so happy. I'm happy because I know that I will be able to see her to help make me feel better when I am mad. And then I feel safe. So it was really reassuring to hear that. It was a lot of those same phrases. Over and over, is that just, even when we would sit in our sessions together, they would just sit with her. I had a student this morning that literally just laid on her while he talked with me and just pet her the entire time. And she was like this the entire time with her. So, and I have a video of one of the students that I work with, got permission from mom to play this here. That was during one of our sessions, and that was just him the whole time. And she just allowed him to do that the entire time. Like, he was able to talk with her, and I allowed that more so to happen than him talking with me. If he's able to get out some frustrations, then he's able to talk with her about that. That's great, that's a win for me. And then that's the same student again, and he was working with her in the classroom today too, so that was really nice. That is an area of difficulty.
That was a
in
big
classroom.
win.
Yeah, so being able to, and I just let him hold her leash the entire time, and whenever he had to transition and do things, so he had to go to the teacher table and read with the teacher, and the teacher just said, read to Molly, just read to Molly, and that's what he did, he read to her. And then we worked together on a worksheet, and the entire time, usually in the classroom, a lot of energy, a lot of avoidance, a lot of trying to get out of work. And he worked for almost the entire 30 minutes. Like, it was about time that Megan needed to leave with Molly, and I was like, whoa, oh, wow, we've been here for 30 minutes already, like doing this? That's huge, that was really huge. And then we've answered some of these questions already, but these are just common questions that are usually asked, like how's the dog going to be utilized in the school, where will the dog stay when not with students, Molly will stay with me, liability insurance, we are going to have liability insurance for Molly, any dogs that work in the school usually have insurance, who's responsible for letting the dog outside for bathroom breaks, that's myself. Will the dog go through continued training in the future? Scott mentioned that she will. Will the dog receive grooming and regular veterinary care? Absolutely. That's one of my responsibilities, is to make sure she's regularly groomed. and that we take her to the vet whenever she needs to go. How the students know how to interact with therapy dogs. So Molly's been coming for the past like couple months, and she's been visiting all of the classrooms, and that's been the opportunity of where I've been able to speak with all the students of how they have the opportunity to be able to interact with her, what she's going to be utilized for, how do they approach her. It's been really nice to see because kids now do come in the hallway and they always ask, can I pet Molly? And that's the things that they have to ask before interacting with her. So it's nice too to kind of see that play out. And then what about students who have a fear or allergy of dogs? We have the opt-out form, and then if they want to work on any kind of fears or anything like that, we definitely can. But fortunately, we don't have anybody with a severe allergy at our school. And then how will you navigate those students whose parents have signed the opt-out form? Like I said, we have the opt-out form, and all of our families that did opt out, we reached out to them and just said, are you okay though with like the student being in the same room as Molly? They don't have to interact with her, they don't have to pet her. Everyone said, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's fine. So that gave me some reassurance of, yes, I can take her everywhere in the school and there's not gonna be any issues. And like I said, a lot of the students were so excited to see her, and whose parents have signed the opt-out form, they still smile and they are always like, hi. So it's nice to see. And then that's it, that's all I got.
There's one more thing that I want to add. So what we've done at Magnum Canine is we have, all of our handlers are put into what I call like a coalition. So let's say, for an example, just an example, a school somewhere has a tragedy, and whether it's a student tragedy or a teacher's tragedy, we will contact all of our canines and we'll say, we need to meet at XYZ school tomorrow at 9 a.m. They had a tragedy. And then we'll show up, and we've got 30, plus dogs now total. So we don't expect everybody to come. There's gonna be people that just can't come. But we did it in another school district in this county a couple months ago where we were able to roll in with 12 dogs for an incident that they had the night before. And that's just something. I started doing that because there was a trainer over in the Detroit area that was charging $900 a day for that. And that makes me sick to my stomach that, you're using a tragic situation to help kids and you're basically exploiting the school to do that. So it's something that it's just a verbal commitment when we have handlers. I'll say, is this something that you agree to do? And of course, and then now we have a therapy dog with a trained person that actually knows how to talk to kids, and we can go into a school and help, whether it's a death or some other type of tragedy. Unfortunately, that's just part of the world that we live in. So that's something else that is part of this whole thing is we provide, we help facilitate that so that it can be provided. So,
That's cool.
but any other questions, comments? Yeah.
Who pays for the liability insurance?
So Annie, who works over at the high school, she has been talking with the Rotary Club, and they are graciously going to donate some money for us to be able to use for liability insurance.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
And thank you, Ms. Miller. You initiated this process, didn't you?
I did.
Thank you so
I attended a PD presentation last October where the handlers from Branch County who have therapy dogs gave a presentation, and I got wind of there being therapy dogs. My family goes to Quincy schools, my husband works at Quincy schools, and he was like, there's a therapy dog, it's pretty amazing. And so I attended it and I was like, we gotta get this. And so I talked with Toby, I'm like, do you think this is possible? Do you think we can do this? So yes, with her help, we were able to make it work, and of course, with Paul's approval, it's, made it happen, so yeah. Very fortunate.
We're gonna love having her.
Yes.
Scott, you don't need to hang around with this.
Okay, I'll get out of your guys' hair. And I just want to say too, that it is important that we're using trained, tested dogs. A lot of people are like, why can't we just bring our own pet in? And it's, the training and the testing that these dogs go through is extremely important to make sure that our kids and staff and everybody are safe. And that's the big part of what we're doing too, so. I appreciate you guys letting me talk. I know I'm long-winded, but we will get out of your hair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to duck out? Mr. Dancer?
Are you kicking me out or?
Just checking with you. All right. Next, we have the request for public participation forms. I don't have any. Anybody wish to address the board? Thank you. Visitors, delegations, communications, we don't have any of that, right?
No,
We need to, huh?
we do not. I have
Approval of
never
the minutes from October 28th of 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No.
Next, we have the consent agenda. Communications? No. Personnel recommendations. Mr. Flynn.
Relative to certified staff recommendations, the Board of Education accept with regret the resignation of Coldwater High School English teacher Miss Chelsea Thang-Vidget, effective January 3, 2024. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Leo Fink for the Coldwater High School English teaching position effective December 16, 2024. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Danielle Klinger for the social worker position at Max Larson Elementary, effective December 2, 2024. Relative to support staff recommendations, the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Doug Thomas for the part-time lunchroom supervisor position at Lake Middle School, effective immediately upon board approval. And the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Casey Melendy for the part-time bus monitor position for Coldwater Schools, effective immediately upon board approval.
Thank you.
Paul, could we amend January 3rd to 2025?
We sure can.
Yes, that was my mistake, sorry.
Already talked to her about it.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
And she's still working for us?
Yep.
Thanks for having me back, then. Appreciate it.
Next, we have the approval for the October accounts for payment and financial statements. Dr. Lanford.
Be it resolved that the following accounts for October be approved for payment as follows. General fund accounts in the amount of $2,118,992.49, and special revenue accounts in the amount of $247,714.69. And be it resolved that the general fund financial statements be approved as presented. So there.
Thank you. Next, we have acceptance and approval of gifts presented by Member Steele.
All right, recently the administration was made aware of the following gifts offered by the donors listed below. Recognition and approval for acceptance of the gifts are being sought. Brian Shirk for monetary funds to the National Art Honor Society for $100. Anonymous donor of monetary funds for the Coldwater High School softball program for $5,000. Branch County Community Foundation monetary funds to the Coldwater Food Service Department, $2,151.80. Coldwater Choir Boosters monetary funds for new microphones for the choir program, $4,769.59. Moose Lodge 677 monetary funds to cover the fees for a student to attend youth and government. For an LMS student, $130. Additionally, the individuals listed below have received monetary funds from the Good, Better, Best grant through the E.B. Klein Youth and Family Center. Carrie Friend for $300. Jordan Runyon, $500. Erica Towers, $500. Becky Heaton, $500. Amber Qualls, $500. Rachel Horde, $500. Sarah Valentine, $500. And Sarah Newbecker, $500. The gracious and continued support of the donors listed above is sincerely appreciated. We ask that the board accept the gifts noted and acknowledge the donors' generosity. Be it resolved that the Board of Education gratefully accepts the gifts as presented, and be it further resolved that a letter of appreciation on behalf of the board be sent to the donors indicated above for their worthwhile and generous gifts.
Thank you, Mr. Steele. That is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the building reports. Would the principals like to add anything to their building report? Good choice. Director of Curriculum and Instruction report. You don't wish to add anything?
You said good choice when they didn't, so I'm gonna follow.
You're not a principal.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So best.
So I'm just wondering if the reading scores are going up yet.
Seeing good things happen every day.
You've been on the job quite a while now.
That is true.
It's happening.
Board committee reports. We had a policy committee meeting which addressed several areas. Conflict of interest policy, the grant funds, internal control policy, cash management of grants policy, cost principles, procurement, federal grants, travel payment and reimbursement policy, disposition of surplus property policy, and property inventory. All very exciting policies. Well, there weren't any other committees, were there?
Yeah, building and grounds.
Oh, building and ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we,
Who was
Thought you were
there?
the only committee for that?
What? I'm the only one that
Did you think you
allows.
were the only committee that met?
Yes, because if there's a committee going on,
You want to be in the.
I want to be there. Who was there?
I can talk about the building and grounds
Okay, go
committee.
ahead. Everybody else is shy.
I just wanted to get that committee together to talk about the beginning steps for going for another bond for the high school. And we talked about what had been done in the past, the companies that were used, and going out for some interviews of other architects and construction management companies to see what else is out there, with a plan of hopefully having those people in place by the December board meeting, so we can hit the ground after Christmas break, hit the ground with community meetings and getting feedback from the community on what's the best that we can do for our students and our facilities.
Could we meet as a board in a workshop to discuss that?
Sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
Saturday morning sometime? I think it would be good to have community members that want to attend that,
Yeah.
to hear us talk about that.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be in December, but
Okay.
I would like to do that. I don't know
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
my fellow board members feel about it.
Certainly not during football season. Mrs. Reardon, I forgot to mention,
Saturday morning, there'll be no games in football season.
ESPN is on. College game day, very important.
We'll take.
Mrs. Reardon, I forgot to mention your Veterans Day program, which was magnificent every year. It's very nice. Thank you. And the students they must work very hard to get all those songs done and everything.
I know mine
And did
did
you-
every night in the
They were
shower.
reading too, did you notice that?
Thank you.
Don't stick out.
Just so you know, one of the little boys came from Lakeland, Mr. Connor, because he loved being a part of the Veterans Day program. So then when he went on to Lakeland, he asked if he could come back because he loved Sheriff Pollock and he wanted to be a part of presenting to him. So that was really nice that his parents brought him in so that he could do that.
Great.
So he had his picture taken with him afterwards and got a badge.
I saw that. Next, we have the superintendent's report.
A small report this year, but first and foremost, we're one step closer to our Aquatic Center director. Adrena Hampton is here tonight to put a face with the name from Hampton Aquatics. We will, and I just wanted to put out there a special thanks to her for all of the time that she's invested in this plan already, to the city of Coldwater, especially the mayor and the city manager for all the work that everybody on their team has done to help make this happen. Certainly wouldn't be anywhere closer to having progress without the help of the city and their attorneys, and most definitely the Brown family, which we've talked about before. This past week, we also met with Pedal Across Lower Michigan, or PALM. This is a yearly event for cyclists, and they've requested to use some of our facilities this summer. We've hosted them twice this year, or twice in the past. The most recent was 2015. They bring upwards of hundreds to 1,000 bikers, bicyclists that will camp out on our facilities and utilize some of our facilities for a night. Chartwells will feed them dinner and breakfast the next morning, and it's all a wonderful way to work with the community and showcase our facilities and community as well. So they'll utilize the junior high, the high school, and the aquatic center. So, and then just in other news in the community, I want to give a special thank you to Brian Stevens and Brian Shirk. Both of them presented their programs to the Sunrise Rotary Club this past month. So it's been a very nice way to get some wonderful things that we're doing out to the community. Student presentations, attended a student presentation in the high school street law course last week on the issues of vaping and what could be done to help curb that we're trying to continue to move forward with. And tomorrow is another presentation that we'll be listening to, this one on needs for transportation upgrades. And then the student presentation that you talked about, which was the veterans program at Jefferson. There are a couple of notifications that I wanted to share as well. Kristen Nidzwicki, elementary art teacher, reached out, and every year our insurance company SETSEG has a design a Christmas card contest, and one of our 5th graders won the contest. She's one of 6 students across the state to be selected, so their artwork will be featured on SETSEG's Christmas cards that go out. And so Emerson Wright is the winner. I'm sorry, I said 6th grader, it was a 5th grader. Emerson Wright is the winner, 5th grade student at Lakeland, in Olivia Cumbersworth's class. So that was very exciting news to get. And then to celebrate one of our staff members here at central office, I received a letter from Michigan school business officials to inform us that Julie Fitch has met the requirements for certification under MSBO voluntary certification program and has earned the pupil accounting specialist certification. This award reflects a high degree of academic and professional preparation established by the MSBO Board of Directors through professional development committees. Mrs. Fitch's certificate will be valid for 5 years, and during that time she'll need to maintain active MSBO membership and earn 90 professional development hours in order to maintain and renew her certification. I hope that you'll join us in celebrating Ms. Fitch's accomplishment. You may wish to inform your district's board and the local media. It's an opportunity to highlight your staff's accomplishment and shed a positive light on your school district. So Julie did this all on her own and on time of her own, and I wanted to congratulate her and celebrate her in front of the board.
Thank you very much.
And that's what I have.
Ms. Hampton, can you stand up so I can see who you are?
Hello.
And you're getting her face, right? Nicely done. Are there any discussion items? No. Next we have the action items. Request to consider levying the summer tax in the city of Coldwater. Coldwater Community Schools has a prior agreement with the city of Coldwater to collect all the 100% of the general fund, debt retirement fund, and the building and site sinking fund millages in July. The Board of Education must annually request before January 1st of each year the levy of the summer property taxes, even though a prior agreement exists. Forgot my mouse. Be it resolved, the Board of Education pursuant to Public Act 451 of 1776 as amended hereby invokes the 2025, it previously adopted ongoing resolution imposing a summer tax levy of these previously mentioned levies. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Roll call then.
Member Holbrook,
Yes.
Member Steele,
Yes.
Member Dean,
Yes.
Member Lanford,
Yep.
Member Lyon Welch.
Yes.
Member Frederick,
Yes.
Member Lake.
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we have the request for the approval of the 2024-2025 district improvement plans. Under Michigan Department of Education regulations, each school building must have a school improvement plan that is reviewed and approved annually by the Board of Education. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the 2024-2025 district improvement plan. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? When I looked at the district improvement plan, it seems like it's only one page now. And it used to be about 50 or 100.
Correct.
Are you responsible for any of that?
Well, you don't want one person responsible for the entire district's plan, but
Well, I was
yes.
gonna give you all the credit.
Oh, well, don't give me all the credit. No, I have, all the buildings are working really hard and we feed into the district plan. It's really went to a continuous improvement model. That is a one-page summary. All district administrators went to the High Reliability Schools Institute, which is a measuring opportunity for us to see how we're doing each year with the leading indicators, which lines up with Marzano's research team.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve a 2025 summer trip to Europe for the Coldwater High School students through EF Educational Travel Company. They had originally planned to go to Belize, but now they're going to go to Switzerland, Italy, and France. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approved the recommendation for the international trip to Europe in the summer of 2025 for the Coldwater High School students through EF Educational Travel Company as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Any discussion?
Yeah. I guess I just want to understand, like, this. So this is not a school trip, right?
It's school sponsored.
This one is considered a school-sponsored trip because it's one of our teachers taking students through her whether it be her Spanish program or other students in our school. But this one is considered a school-sponsored trip, yes.
Okay. And it's through this educational tour thing. I think you said you've
Yeah.
gone on a trip before or something?
Yeah, actually, I've gone on this exact trip.
Okay.
How many years ago was that?
No, just.
No. It was before 9/11, so it was back in the,
Okay.
back in the late 90s. But it's a great opportunity for kids to get a snapshot. You know, you don't get a lot of in-depth because there's so much to see, but it really does give a snapshot of what else is out there.
So you didn't go as a student, did you?
No, I went as one of the teacher chaperones.
I was hoping you had more educational experience. Roll call vote.
Member Frederick,
Yes.
Member Lanford,
Yes.
Member Dean,
Yes.
Member Holbrook,
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch.
Yes.
Member Steele,
Yes.
Member Lake.
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the independent contractor agreement between Coldwater Community Schools and Hampton Aquatics Fitness. Administration has been meeting regularly with the city of Coldwater to discuss the future operating expenses for the Dr. Robert W. Brown Aquatic Center. At a regular meeting of the Board of Education held on October 28, 2024, the board approved a 5-year intergovernmental interlocal contract between the city of Coldwater and Coldwater Community Schools effective January 1st, 2025. Through the partnership and collaboration with the city of Coldwater, it decided to hire a full-time aquatics director. Coldwater School Administration posted the position. At this time, administration is requesting approval to enter into a contract with Hampton Aquatics and Fitness LLC for the management and operations of the Dr. Robert W. Brown Aquatic Center effective January 1st, 2025. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves entering into a contract with Hampton Aquatics and Fitness LLC for the management and operations of the Dr. Robert W. Brown Center effective January 1st, 2025 as presented, and authorizes Superintendent Flynn to sign the contract on behalf of the district. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Lanford?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes. Motion passes. Scroll down to the bottom here. We have the first reading of the revised and new policies. We have conflict of interest, grant funds, internal controls, cash management of grants, cost principles, spending federal funds, procurement, disposition of surplus property, property inventory that are revised. And then we have new and revised, employment of personnel of co-curricular and extracurricular activities, opioid antagonists, student accidents, student conduct, artificial intelligence, criminal justice, information security. The board will be asked to conduct second reading, including the final adoption of the revised and new policies during the next regular meeting of the Board of Education. Be it resolved, the Board of Education acknowledges the recommendation of the first reading of revised and new board policies as submitted. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? These were reviewed by the policy committee in depth, and I didn't get a lunch either.
You were
late.
I wasn't late, I was on
You were
time.
past the lunch hour. You didn't come for lunch.
Not every time, Ed, can you have lunch?
I just sold you half a sandwich.
What?
I just sold you half a sandwich.
I didn't want what you had. I wanted an Italian combo.
I needed money to buy votes. That didn't work.
God, forget it. How many more times are we gonna hear that? Let's see.
What day is it?
Well, that's it. Next, we have a request to conduct
It's a roll call.
Oh, okay, roll call then, yeah. Well, I forgot my mouse.
Member Lanford?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes. That passes. Next, we have the request to conduct the executive session pursuant to PA 287, Section 8A, for the purpose to discuss personnel matters. This is a roll call. We need a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Member Steele?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Lanford?
Yep.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes. We are in closed session.